This is Zach Moss, NFL running back and former Utah Utes running back. You're listening to the Utah Utes Football Digest, the source for Utah Utes football. Go Utes.
All right, guys, this is Joseph with the Utah Utes Football Digest. Today, Utah went into Tucson and defeated Arizona. Utah is 7-3, and after today, Arizona is 1-9. Utah defeated them 38-29. Now, as Utes fans going into this game, this was not the type of score we wanted. Realistically, obviously, a win's a win. You got to be really happy that we won this game, especially how close this game really got towards the end. But a win's a win, right? We got to be happy about what we saw. I think there were a lot of highlights, some serious lowlights as well. I think we got to be realistic there. There were some parts of this team that really did not show up during the game. But the score of this game is closer than the 38-29 represents. This actual game was 31-29 with like a minute or two left. Our offense really showed up towards the end of that game and drained that clock. I gotta say, so we had some people shine on defense, the usual suspects, right? Devin Lloyd, Vontae Davis, a couple. Devin Lloyd had quite a few big plays. Vontae Davis had a few nice plays as well. But overall, our defense really crapped the bed here, guys. It was a little embarrassing. We were going up against a team that only put up 10 points last week against Cal and was struggling to find their identity on offense, to giving up 29 points. And it felt like a lot of that game, they were just having their way with our defense. That's not something I look forward to saying. It's just realistic. I mean, they did a really good job just grinding the ball. But honestly, Arizona was not as bad of a team as I thought they were. They came to play. They did a great job. I was really impressed by their quarterback specifically and the play of a lot of their wide receivers. So hats off to them. I'm glad we were able to come away with the win. But that young defense we have really needs to fix it up. I'm telling you, the type of performance we saw today is going to put too much pressure on our offense if we see it against Oregon. Oregon will easily put up 40 to 50 points on our defense if they show up the way they showed up today. And expecting an offense to put up that many points is unrealistic, right? That'd be awesome if we did. But to have that be what is going to need to happen for us to beat Oregon is just going to be unacceptable, right? Yeah. When we're looking at our offense, though, I got to be honest with you, there were a lot of highlights on offense. As much as the defense was kind of a low light for the whole game, on offense, we had a lot of things that I loved. Cam Rising, 19 for 30, 294 yards passing with 2 passing touchdowns. Cam Rising also 4 carries, 22 yards. That's a 5.5 yard per rush and 1 touchdown rushing. So Cam Rising total over 300 all-purpose yards with a touchdown. Huge game by him. Honestly, everyone in that locker room should be thanking him and giving him a pat on the back and saying, yo, thanks for digging us out of that hole. Because if it wasn't for this offense, I'm about to give another offensive player a shout out, but if it wasn't for this offense really stepping up and making some things happen, this game would have been a very, very different story. All right, now the other guy that I think really, really shined on offense was the guy that, as the game got going, became the clear replacement for Tavion while he's out. TJ Pledger, number 5, 25 carries, 119 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, and tack on to that one reception for 43 yards. That was that huge screen play. I think it was on a 3rd down too. It was a big play. But just overall, he had, over 160 all-purpose yards as a running back. Super big day by Pledger. Really impressed. He's been a guy that's been really up and down for me, but I think he and Bernard kind of switch off by who's going to be the complement to Thomas based on how they feel that week and how they perform. But Pledger really cemented himself in my eyes as a very legitimate runner and a legitimate running back and someone we can actually lean on. He's actually a junior, and Cam Rising's a sophomore, so we actually should see Pledger and Rising back next year, and that's something we really should look forward to. A lot of these guys that are big-time playmakers are going to be back next year. A lot of great work from the tight end room as well. Dalton Kincaid, 3 receptions for 33 yards and a touchdown. He had that huge wheel route towards the sideline. There was a big play, a touchdown there. Brent Keithy, 4 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown. Seriously, couldn't say anything better about Brent Keithy. Kind of the unwritten star of this game. A lot of these plays were like I remember before halftime when we needed a big play to get us in, field goal range or scoring distance. Brent Keithy made a huge catch for like 20-something yards. He turned it upfield and made it happen. That was awesome. Also, Micah Bernard, or Mekhi Bernard. Honestly, I had a dog named Micah, and that's how we spelled his name. That's why I always trip up on his names. I think it's Mekhi, right? Mekhi Bernard. 3 receptions for 60 yards. Honestly, this was part of our offense I wish we would have used more. Mekhi Bernard was always open for the dump off in the flat on the play action every single damn time, and it would turn into a huge play like this, basically 20 yards a pop. I mean, I just wish we would have used that more. I've noticed that in almost every game that is open all the damn time. And, there's a lot of other guys I could be shouting out. Covey, 2 receptions, 40 yards. Vele, 2 receptions, 28 yards. One of them was on that one where Rising got smacked and that ball was just fluttering in the air, and Bailey made it back to the ball and made the catch. I mean, seriously, a lot of great performances out there today on our offense, and a lot of poor performances on defense. I really don't want to embarrass anyone, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. There was a lot to be desired on defense, guys. We looked young. We looked out of place. We looked uncharacteristically confused. We looked just unsure of what to do in almost every situation. I hope our defense really settles in mentally. I really hope that was just an off week for them where, they didn't take Arizona seriously. But there's also a lot of moving pieces to Arizona, so maybe there wasn't a ton of film to watch on what we were seeing. Either way, though, the gap discipline we saw from this defense, the tackling we saw from this defense was atrocious. I mean, they really need to look at themselves on the way home. I'm not going to harp on them all night. I'm going to move past this. But I just want to say, that defense should look at themselves in the mirror and really ask themselves, are you going to be the reason that we don't win the Pac-12 championship? And I hope they're not. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully they improve. Hopefully after this past week they take another step forward. This is kind of how our defense has been all year. They have one really bad week, one really good week. Hopefully that's what we see against Oregon. I would love to see that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Pac-12 South. So this is why I waited until the evening to actually make this video instead of doing it earlier. The Pac-12 South was up for grabs today. If we won and Arizona State lost, we were going to be, win and we're in. We would be guaranteed that we're going to the Pac-12 championship. That was not the case. We won the game, which is awesome. We didn't win it how we wanted to, but we did win it. An ugly win, but still a win. And then, man, it was annoying. If you guys were watching that Arizona State-Washington game, it really looked like for a minute that Washington was going to win. Washington was up 14-0 at one point. Washington was also up 23-14, or actually 24-14 in the fourth quarter. But they were just struggling to move the ball so much against Arizona, and Arizona was moving the ball so well against them that I feel like you kind of saw that coming. You kind of saw that Arizona State was going to finish them. But either way, on that note, we if we win one more game in the Pac-12, we clinch. So that would be awesome if that's Oregon. It'd be awesome if that's Colorado, right? I just want to make sure we get to that Pac-12 championship game, whatever we have to do. So hopefully we get there. A lot of good things, right? Like I said, the offense, a lot of highlights there. We have a huge game next week. This is probably going to be a pretty in-depth video for me next week, breaking down the Oregon game. It's a really exciting opportunity for us, guys. We're 7-3. Even though we didn't look great against Arizona, I would imagine we might move up just a tiny bit in the rankings, considering there's going to be a lot more 7-3 teams now. But I think we have a lot to look forward to, guys. We have Oregon next week. We'll do the breakdown on that in a couple days here. And then after that, we have Colorado. And then hopefully after that, we've got the conference championship and the Rose Bowl. I mean, that's what we're looking at. And let me be clear. As much as this week our defense did disappoint us, our offense showed up big time, right? We didn't run the ball. My prediction was that we were going to run the ball down their throats and they wouldn't be able to keep up. I'm not saying we didn't run the ball at all, but that's not what dominated for us in this game. The dominant part of this game was us throwing the ball. We actually threw the ball really well for almost 300 yards. Cam Rising continues to impress. He's a sophomore. I'm excited to see him grow with this team and grow as a player. We got a lot of good to look forward to. Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. I really enjoy making these, and I would love to hear what kind of content you guys would like that I'm not currently giving you. But on that note, guys, I hope you have a great evening, and go Utes.